Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of All in All with Alex. I'm your host, of course, Alex. Today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Gina Cavalier. How you doing today?
Oh, hi, Alex. So nice to be in your presence. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad to have you here, and I know the viewers out there that are going to be watching this video. I know they'll be excited to hear um, our conversation today.
I hope so.
So, before we get started, can you give a quick background about yourself, and then we'll dive into the questions?
Sure. My name's Gina Cavalier, and I just want to give a shout out to anybody who might have any triggers around speaking about suicide or suicidal ideation, because that's my platform. It's something that I've healed in myself, and I am out here trying to share with other people that it can be healed. It's something that can no longer be a part of your life potentially if you do the work, and we're here to provide support to get you there. So if that's something that might trigger you and you're not ready to hear those conversations, we just suggest that today maybe find something else. But I just don't want someone to not understand that that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today.
Okay. So let's jump into it. So, what inspired you? What inspired or what made you transition from the entertainment industry to doing the mental health advocacy that you do now?
Well, you know what's funny is it's been a full circle. I'm going back to the entertainment industry. So I spent, but doing it the way I want to do it and doing it on the projects I want to and to help people.
Right.
So I'm using all of that knowledge and information that I use in the entertainment business. But, I was in the entertainment business for 25 years and I worked on all kinds of areas of, different films with studios. I had a big studio exec job and I was miserable. And everybody around me, a lot of us were miserable. We were stuck in boxes. We didn't know who we were. We were controlled. We didn't know how to speak up for ourselves and all, different just like everyday things that a lot of people have to deal with. But I decided that I really wanted to heal my suicidal ideation. And I took a big, long path of full on dedication to find out what would work for me. So I just uncovered over a long period of time how to clear that from my space and how to fully fall in love with myself. And it was really interesting because hidden behind all that pain that I had healed was my life purpose, just hidden there. It revealed itself kind of at the end, and it was just so beautiful. And now I'm going back to the entertainment business. I just started a company called Love and Media. I'm doing a 6-part docuseries on suicidal ideation. We're breaking it up. We're trying to bring levity towards it, and we're trying to intellectualize a conversation so more people can lose that stigma and they can speak about it, so we can save more people's lives today. So I'm just really excited that I'm kind of that now, going back to what my original love is entertainment business. I grew up on TV. It was my parent, I learned about how to love and how to fight and how to deal with conflict and music. And, I love entertainment. I think that there's definitely a place for storytelling to uplift people in the community. So I'm glad to come back, but stronger, better, and doing the projects I want to do.
Yeah, that's definitely good. I mean, anytime you can do something that you love or that you want to do, then you'll put out a better product and you'll enjoy it a lot more for sure. So, so can you share the story behind founding the Liberated Healer, we're okay.org, and then Suicidal Ideation Anonymous.org?
Yeah, so the Liberated Healer is my energetic platform and healing platform that teaches people how to actually transform their energy of, where they're stuck and they're lost and they're feeling hopeless, where they have the tools to heal themselves 24/7. So that's the Liberated Healer. We're Okay is kind of transformed into Love and Media, which is my production company. And Suicidal Ideation Anonymous is just like Alcohol Anonymous, but it's for people who have suicidal thoughts. And we're trying to hook up with AA and those other kind of large nonprofits that are already successful at helping people, to say now is the time to help people with suicidal ideation. back in the 50s when they started AA, it was really taboo to be an alcoholic, and everybody was very hush hush about it. And nowadays, luckily through that program, through them, people can talk about being an alcoholic now without feeling shamed or stigmatized. Right now, people don't have that with suicidal ideation. It's so stigmatized. It's so shameful. There's so much fear around it. So now we have to kind of follow the same steps that helped other people now help in this area, I believe. So I'm trying to get that started.
So how would you say that your experience in the film industry influenced your approach to your mental health advocacy?
My experience in the film industry. Well, you have to be tough to work in the entertainment business.
That's for sure.
And I honestly didn't want to be, a lot of people, especially say females, right? We feel like in the entertainment business, we have to put on this male persona to become successful. And it's really not who we are. We have to be who we are, period. We will be miserable if we are not who we are. And little things keep dinging at us all day long in different fields of anything, any of us, right? Saying maybe you should be this or you should be that, or you have to act like this. And if you are not authentically yourself as much as possible, as often as possible, man, that's just where we get really depressed and bummed out anyways. So I was, always told, I, like to cut down the way I look. And, I was a blonde ditzy girl, that I couldn't be an executive, or, to tone myself down, constantly having to, cover up myself and my curves and things like that. So I didn't come off too sexy in meetings and things like that. And you see that in the entertainment business, a lot of the women that do that, they start to kind of have this masculine energy, and it's not really them. And then they wind up getting cancer, and then they wind up doing all, maybe committing suicide or all kinds of other things. And it's like, no, accept us who we are, that the beautiful thing that we are, whatever it is, that's our special magic. Don't try to change us. And that was sort of my big thing that I learned in the entertainment industry, is just be who you are.
Okay. So what was your inspiration, or what motivated you to write Surviving Suicidal Ideation and Healing Suicidal Ideation?
This is my book that came out in June, and
Okay.
I wrote it with a trauma-informed therapist. And all I want to do is help save lives. Honestly, that's it. That is my number one mission. I don't want people, when you have suicidal ideation, it feels like it's a part of your life forever, that it's just going to come and go whenever you have something, like you lose a job, or you lose a partner, or someone in your family passes away and you're really depressed. And all of a sudden you go through these wounds and these series of things that you're used to talking to yourself about. I want people to know that that doesn't have to be a part of your life. It feels like it's so ingrained in you, like your eye color, like you're never going to change it, but you can change it. And I have such a happiness in my heart that even when I go through something really devastating, that I don't have to worry about falling down to the point where I want to lose my life. That is like, that I made that change, and I actually can't even think that negative anymore. It's like my brain is completely transformed. I can't even have that self dialogue anymore. And I just really wanted to share it with people and say, please, please don't leave. Please, let's find another way. And that's how the book is. And then the second book is, I changed the title to Planet Walking, a handbook for the living. And I got it, I kind of riffed it off Tim Burton's handbook for the recently deceased in Beetlejuice, because I love that idea, because I was thinking, well, what about a handbook for the living? So I created this handbook for the living, which is like, this is how energy is. This is how, you can ground yourself. This is, I even talk about all kinds of different things that, about like how hard it can be to just live on this planet, and how we can continually go back to love and joy and find our life purpose.
Yeah. So with that, how do you balance the clinical and spiritual aspects in your approach to mental health?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but that's why I asked Dr. Amelia Kelly to join me, because I just thought, well, who's going to listen to this one girl or woman who has healed this in herself, right? And some people might need to have a clinical representation. So I asked her, I had her on my podcast, and something kept telling me, ask her, ask her, ask her. And it was a great writing experience. We wrote a chapter a week. We did a proposal to a bunch of publishers. We got a bunch of offers. It was one of the highlights of my life. I always wanted to be a published author. Um, it, my personal heart needed that validation. It was something I always knew as a child that I wanted to do. And it was another thing that people told me I would never do. People I loved that would tell me, "Oh, you'll never do that. You'll never do that. You're not that smart, or you're not that educated." And it just, I don't like that stuff. I don't like putting people down and telling them they can't do anything. And I'm just glad I was strong enough to say, no, I think I actually can do this.
Obviously, you were able to do it. Times how many other books you got? 5 times or 4 times? Or
Well, we're doing another series right now that we're pitching to all the studios, and it's sort of like a Harry Potter type of, but an updated series like that. And I'm getting to go back to the things that I originally wanted to do, but as a healed person, you know?
yeah, that's always good. I mean, now the things that people say to you don't affect you like they once did. So it's easier for you to be in that space that you want to be in to create, everything that you want to create, basically. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I like that. So speaking of creating, can you discuss the importance of creativity and art in the healing process?
Oh my gosh. We are all just creative, actual beings, no matter what we're doing. It doesn't mean it's like has to be a painting or a song. Anything that you do with your life force energy could be even building a business, even like an accounting business. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be actual art. But as you are building something, you're creating it, and that energy is forward movement. It's positive. It's enlightening. So being excited about creating something, and creating something with your heart and your mind and your body, and moving forward with that, and to being able to turn around and look at something and say, oh my gosh, I created that. No matter again what it is, all creation is just, it's out of love. You don't create out of, for the most part, for most people, out of hate. It's something you're inspired to do. And so that creative energy is literally like beautiful and wonderful, and it will elevate you. And if you can step away from the outcome, which is really hard for people to do, because they almost already have a desire for the outcome while they're creating. But just try to stay in the present moment while you're creating, and let that wash over you, and not worry too much about the outcome all the time, because then you're missing the point. It's the journey, all the things in between and in the middle, and the failures, and the time you had to fall down, and how you got yourself back up. So all those are a part of the creation. So it's never going to be just this beautiful, awesome street, and that's just fairy tales that, people need to know don't really exist. And if it does exist for that person, where all of a sudden they get insta famous, don't think that they don't have to go back and relearn the same things that you did. So it's just different pathways, and accept your pathway, whatever that is and whatever it looks like. And know that even the failures and the fall downs are extremely valuable to the whole experience of creating.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So, what role do you feel technology plays in your mental health initiatives, particularly with the we'reok.org app?
So I've actually just developed the idea of the app. It's not out yet, because we're trying to raise money for it. We need like $3 million. But
Wow.
the one thing that I have in there that nobody has is it has a suicidal ideation widget that anytime you're feeling like you need need support and you don't want, this is something that you need, that people don't talk about. They're not going to call their friends and say, I have suicidal ideation for the most part. So this is a widget. And inside that widget is a letter to yourself that you wrote. It's video of your friends and family. Like if you can imagine a father who might be teetering on suicidal ideation, and now he has a place where he has put all his like videos of his kids, to say, Daddy, I love you, just so you know. It's like, how can you give yourself the tools to always protect yourself? So that's sort of the thing that I'm focusing in on that app.
That's definitely something. It's like a positive motivation. Some kind of motivation that'll help them think like, okay, I don't need to do this. I got my kids, and I got my wife, or whoever the case may be, is here, that relies on me to be here every day. I have to fight and be strong for them.
Yeah, I mean, I have videos of my dogs, at my friends, and I've even asked my friends to record some videos for me. So if I'm feeling low, they're like, "I love you, girl. Like you're gonna, it's just like," but they're readily available, they're organized, and I think it's important.
So, can you share some key insights, or anything that you kind of learned while hosting the Liberated Healer podcast?
Well, I'm not doing the podcast anymore, but I did 200 episodes, and um, the journey of creating the podcast, of going back to creation, still even though it wasn't like it would be like monetarily successful, it was still extremely successful. It taught me how so many things. It just taught me how to be organized in a different way. It taught me how to communicate on it through media. It connected me to the lady that helped me write this book. It connected me to many people that are now my best friends, that are vibrating in the way that I also want to vibrate, which is helping other people. It would so to me it was just extremely like a great experience. And then the best also thing, for what I was really proud of myself, is knowing when to let it go, knowing when to say, this isn't, I have to look at all what time I have available, and I have other things I want to create now, and I needed to let it go, and to be kind of in my own power enough to say that it wasn't a negative. It was just, I'm putting that creative energy into other things, and not it was a very positive experience. So not all things have to be financially successful for it to be a failure, or to be, to be something successful.
Right, right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Um, so uh, speaking of success and failure, what challenges have you faced in bringing attention to suicidal ideation and prevention?
I think it's extremely challenging because there's a stigma around it. People have a fear even saying the word. Um, it's really interesting how many millions and billions of dollars and energy go to so many other things that just don't have the 911 category as this, and it baffles me. A lot of money going towards things that just you know aren't necessary right now, I would say. This is 911. We lose one person every 40 seconds in the world. We lose one person every 11 minutes in the United States. The youngest age range right now is 10 to 14-year-olds. We're just, the Pentagon came out with a report saying that, finally admitting that we lose more people in the military from suicide than in battle. So, no, it's just, we need to be, but how do we expect people to heal this if we can't talk about it? How? We can't. It's, we have to bring it out of the shadows. We have to, and that's why I'm doing it, because I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to lose my license, I'm just this person who I believed I've 100% healed this. I want to heal it in other people. I want to stop it dead in its tracks. It's growing every single day. In 2024 is the highest day of suicide in history of man. It's just growing. So 911.
Agree. Agree. It's I don't understand how it's difficult for some people to hear it. You know what I mean? When it's a real thing, it's something that you know millions of people need help with, and millions more probably have hidden that a lot of people don't know about at the same time. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I'm sorry for people who've already lost people. It ruins families. I mean, it's devastating. It's so confusing, and the people that have already lost, we've lost so many. We can bring levity towards it too, having these conversations, normalizing them. And so I appreciate you having me on today to talk about it. Normalizing these conversations is like the first step.
right, right, I
Yeah.
agree. So your book, what inspired you to include hand inked art in your book, Surviving Suicidal Ideation?
Well, when I was really struggling mentally, and I couldn't figure out how to get out this angst, this pain, I would grab a pen like this. That's why I always have a pen in my hand. It's really weird. Like I always have a book in front of me, and I always have a pen. And I've gone on TV interviews, and everybody's normally, and I bring my book and my pen, and they're like, "Why are you doing that?" It's now a safety mechanism for me, because when I would get so bad and I couldn't speak the words, I would just start to draw, and I would draw interesting, cool stuff, and people would say that's art, and I was like, no, I'm just doodling. And for example, this is the art for the book, So, I mean, it's beautiful now that I look at it, but I didn't realize then that I was actually channeling just this hate, this pain, this anger, this anguish, and through this pen and ink, and I was actually kind of getting it out through art. That's why I love music and some of my favorite artists and things like that, like when they're just getting it out. It's like we have to get it out some way. So for me, it was art. And then when they allowed me to put the art in the book, I was really excited because I wanted to show how I channeled some of this anger and anguish through. I found my path, and it was just another thing that helped me get rid of the energy. And you have to do it. You have to find what your thing is. Sometimes it's dancing and singing, but whatever it is to get that angst out, you know, I recognize, oh, this is a tool for me. This is not just me doodling. This is me. This is a tool. This is me to get this out. And so it's necessary. It's important for me. So it's a part of something I would put in my toolbox that say, hey, maybe just go draw for the day, get it out, and create some art. And and then I got to be an artist, and I got to have art shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see. Can you can you share a success story from someone who has benefited from your work? Like one that just sticks out the most out of all the people that you done help. Like, is it one person? You don't have to say any names, but is it one
Yeah,
person comes to mind?
I've had like so many positive interactions with people, but I would say one person is actually a cousin of mine who her 14-year-old daughter came to her and said she was having suicidal thoughts, and she just was like, "What?" And I've heard so many parents say that, and then they are terrified, terrified. So now they have to sleep every night with that thought in their mind about their child, and they're scared that they're in the next room and that something might happen. So, um, you know, showing them that we're people that care and that there's tools, and listening to them. Listening is so important. And slowing down and really listen and let that person share it, and building a community and knowing that they're not alone. And it's just so important. Even like what you're doing right now is like, this is a part of building the community. It's like we're little bits coming together to forming a whole, and the more we keep doing that, more helpful it is to people around us. So we just got to keep doing it. Let me tell you, I'm on a Facebook group, a suicidal prevention group, and there's 1.4 million members.
Oh wow.
And the only other higher Facebook groups that I've really seen is religious groups. So I mean, if you were to look at like from a studio perspective, say, you know, superheroes are the biggest thing, and that's why we do all the movies around them, and we make $1 billion. But even Batman and Superman don't have 1.5 million members. You know, like in the content of their Facebook. These are real people looking for help, and I go in there almost every night and try to at least talk to one person who needs help, and they'll just be like, I'm just suffering today, and like, and there's other people helping them. Like, we're building a community and nobody's even watching or caring. It's a Facebook group that we're just talking to each other. But it's 1.4 million people. I mean, the numbers are there. We need help. We need like more content.
Sure. I mean, that's 1.4 million. That's a lot.
Yeah, and their name is on there, and or they can actually post anonymously if they want. But they're like, I don't care if my name's out there. I need help today. Like, it's people are screaming for help. Yeah.
And those are the ones that actually, are brave enough to come forward. I mean, it's still probably it's more millions, I'm sure, that are suffering from it, and some may not even know about the Facebook group because they never just looked it up. Some are just scared to get help because in certain communities it may be looked upon as weak if you try to go. You know what I mean? Because I know we see that in the Black community a lot. People look at it as, oh, if you need counseling or therapy or something like that, that is, it's kind of frowned upon. You know what I mean? And it's really actually a good thing to go. If you need the help, go and get it, because if you can't get it from family members and people that when you talk to them about it, or if they're not going to take it serious or whatever the case may be, seeking that professional help definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you might have a wound that needs help healing, like you were abused as a child, like me. You know, you might not be able to do that on your own. It might be dangerous to do that on your own. Like, no, you know, and you can heal that. You can get to a point where it doesn't hurt as much, or because what happens when you have like, say, childhood abuse, whether it's sexual or physical or whatever, you fall into this pit of unworthiness, and that's what happened to me. And I just didn't belong, that I just didn't believe that I deserved any love, and I wasn't worthy of any love. And anytime anything came down on me in life, it just proved it, like, see, you're not worth love, and I needed to heal that. And however I healed that, I mean, 10 ways is sides way, I don't care, whatever is the way to heal that. It's like, that's what helped save my life. I was going to live the rest of my life till I was 80, 90 years old, having suicidal ideation because of what happened when I was a child. I wanted a different life. I wanted to have a different experience. I didn't want that to always be going to be happening to me. So I fought for myself to say, no, I really want to heal this. And I have healed it. Like, even all that childhood wound stuff. I mean, it was a part of my healing, but you really need to open it up, and you can't do that on your own without support. I mean, you can. I kind of did a lot, but man, wouldn't it be nice if you had some support?
That's right.
And I'm talking even benefits from the government or whatever, it should be added into the disability benefits for, mental health and things like that. Like, we just need help.
So, what role does spirituality play in your approach to mental health and healing?
For me, it's everything. And I know it's not for everybody. So I really try to be very careful about not to send judgmental thoughts or, things about like other people's belief systems and stuff, because everybody, should believe exactly the way they want. But for me, like, spirituality is everything, like everything. Once it really showed me that there's this outside element, you know, help guiding me and supporting me and holding me and opening paths for me, and just kind of, I don't know. And once you have a few mini miracles that really show you that this is undeniable, that spirit is next to me, it gives you strength. It gives you strength to move forward. For me, it's everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what would you? Okay, so if you had to choose 3 or maybe 5 categories or things that would be the most important when it comes to healing, what would those things be?
Grounding, learning how to ground the energy in your body, and learning. Okay, so we have 50 trillion cells in our body that are pushed together to form our physical energetic self, right? And every one of those cells have energy and they vibrate. So that's why we have this energy around us. So if we can learn how to manipulate this energy into a more positive forward motion, vibrating with the high vibration, and like that's only going to help us. Otherwise we can, like, what will actually happen is you call in illnesses to you call in bad relationships to you. If you don't work on your energy, you continue the cycle over and over again. I married, my first husband was a very similar to my dad, even though I thought in my mind I wanted nothing like my dad, right? But it was who I knew. It was the pattern that I felt comfortable with. It felt like home. So it's important to look at all those cycles, look at your own patterns, and recognize and take accountability where you can taking accountability is hard. Oh yeah, I was a jerk there. Like I could have handled that a lot better. We all have had those situations, right? But how many people do you know that say, "Oh, I was wrong. Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right. I was wrong." No, no. People just want to fight and say that they're right. Like, one of us is wrong sometimes. As a society, if we can kind of start to see that some of us are a little bit right and some of us are a little bit wrong, we can relax and let some of that resistance down and move forward with love again. As we just have to move forward with love again as much as possible. I mean, you don't have to know what's going on in the world to see that. All the baloney people are selling us that things are great, the economy is great. No, people are suffering. If we're going to go through all these hard times, at least we can love each other. Because let me tell you, when I went to third world countries like Cambodia, at first it's shocking to see, the way that they, the majority of the people have to live, right? And then I saw how much love they had and how much they love their family, and they did everything with their family, everything. Even though they didn't have a lot of things, when somebody got married, they put everything into it for weeks. To me, they were having a better life than the people over here that had a lot of money and that were spending their time shopping and stuff. They just had this. They were actually the rich ones. And I think that we just need to get back to community. And I don't care if you have money, enjoy it. Even spirit wants you to have money if that's what you want. It's not about, but it's like your relationship with money is like, do you let it own you? Do you let it treat other people bad because you have more and things like that? There's a difference. So it's whatever you want, you can get, you can have. It's the intention behind how you're living your life and how you're affecting the world. First, you have to work on yourself, and then how are you affecting the world?
Okay. So, can you discuss the importance of anonymity? I know I probably said it wrong. In mental health support, especially for those experiencing suicidal thoughts?
Well, I think it's up to the individual, and if that's what they want, they should have it.
Okay.
And that is a really nobody really knows about that, because if you do call some hotlines and you do say some trigger words, they can get to you possibly and bring you in on a hold and things like that. So first off, I think all the programs need to be really honest about if it's confidential. I think all that's really important, because the last thing you want to do to somebody who is suffering from suicidal ideation and they're working on healing it is to break their trust. That's going to trigger them more, so we have to let people choose what they share and what they don't share. And unfortunately, we have to let them choose it. I think.
So what advice would you give individuals who want to support loved ones experiencing suicidal ideation?
Well, first off, don't panic, even though it is really scary. try to get into your own heart space and try to get calm, because they're going to need a calming influence. Let them know first off that you're there, that you're going to listen, and you have to follow their cadence a little bit. If they're saying, I think I need help now, go get them help now. If they want you to stay and hold their hand all night and just talk it out, let them talk it out. Follow their cadence, and then go. There's a ton of resources in our book, Surviving Suicidal Ideation, but there's also dialing 988 for the individual, or sometimes, especially teenagers, they like to text instead of talk to someone. So there's hotlines that are text only that you can find online really easily. And then just, really trying to build that thing, like I was saying, like in the widget, like let's get videos, let's get letters of self, and then maybe get some help if they're open to some therapy. And it might take like 3 or 4 therapists to find the therapist that works for you. I had one therapist that was just really bad. It was funny. Anytime I said anything, she would say, how does that make you feel? And I was like, you're not helping me very much. Like, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't her fault in a way. Just, it's not a magic pill. You know what I mean? You just have to both commit to the healing of it, and then checking in with people, and then not being judgmental. That's the number one thing. Try to hold back your judgment. The judgment is like what stops people from telling other people.
So, how do you see the future of mental health treatment evolving, particularly with the integration of technology?
It's such a big question. I mean, mental health and the insurance company, it's such a big mess. We need governments and really wealthy people and people, big brands, and people that have all of the resources to come together and move out the egotistical self stuff of their own priorities. Like, we really need to break it down and really get to helping people. It should be everybody should have access to all these programs easily. Even if you have statewide insurance, trying to find, I have insurance that's Medi-Cal, and trying to find a provider, is crazy. I'll call them and like, you accepting new patients? They're like, nope, we're not taking Medi-Cal. We're not taking insurance. The doctors don't want to take these programs anymore because they're not getting paid, or they get paid really late. So we need to find a system. We just really need to all come together and make sure all these systems are just so much. We can do it. If we can go to the moon, we can make sure everybody has help. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but we should be able to.
Yeah, I agree. So, a couple more questions. How do you measure the impact and success of your various mental health initiatives?
For me, it's just every day knowing when I've connected with someone or anyone, or even say this podcast, having one outreach that I might get to at least another handful of people that need it. That's the only way I can actually measure success, is potentially helping that individual.
So, can you discuss the importance of lived experience in mental health advocacy?
So for me, I say I lived through having suicidal ideation, and then I healed it. So lived experience means, so like the therapist that helped me write the book, she's a therapist on the topic, but she didn't live it. I lived it. So that's the difference. So that's why I had the lived experience and now the healed experience. So I have, my early life, I had suicidal ideation. My later life, I won't have suicide. So it's 2 different living experiences that I'm getting to enjoy now.
So, what message do you hope to leave with the audience today about mental health and healing? So, basically put everything in a nutshell and let them know what you really want them to know.
To remember that you are the joy that nothing else is. That your soul is the most valuable thing you own. Take care of it.
Okay. I like that. That's a nice quote right there.
Yeah. Take care of it.
Can you explain to them really quick how they can, if they want to work with you, or
Yeah.
if they want to reach out to you at some point, how can they go about doing it?
Yes. So I actually do one-on-one healings and teaching people the tools. If For energy work or suicidal ideation at the liberatedhealer.com. Also, I'm on all the Instagram. I'm also ginacavalier.com for all my artwork. And if you want to check out the documentary we're working on, it's on my YouTube channel, Love and Media, and also loveandmedia.com. And we're raising funds to do that documentary and to sell that to a studio or something like that, just to and I thank you for any support you want. If you want to order a book, it's on Amazon or everywhere. Buy a mom and pop store if you want, and they can order it for you if you don't want to go through Amazon. And and just thank you so much for your support of me and sending me good luck, good energy back.
Great. So I know it was definitely a blessing to have you on the show today. I appreciate you coming
You
on,
too.
talking the importance of helping people overcome suicidal ideation, um, helping people get to that great space in life where they should all be. It's definitely important. And once again, I thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Alex, and many blessings.
No problem. Thank you. So
Thank you.
everybody that's watching, you all go follow Gina on social media. Go to her website, check her out, support, buy her book, or just donate if you want to just donate. But yeah, follow her, keep up with everything that she has going on. And you guys have just watched another episode of All in Our Alex, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks.